So now, infrastructure is one of the core sectors. There's no doubt, and Vietnam and India shares almost equal, opportunities as well as challenges when it comes to infrastructure development. Now, for this, we have Lieutenant General Anil Malik. I would request, please, he is the Vice President of IICCI India, for one of the key infra development companies based in India.
Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, privileged to be here. Well, frankly, for me, this is more of an explanatory session, because I don't think any of the Indian companies are yet into infrastructure development in Vietnam. So to start with, I'd like to talk a bit about Hindustan Construction Company, the company which I represent. Our company is nearly 100-year-old in the field of infrastructure development. We are basically into roads development, construction of bridges, dams, tunnels, power, the energy sector. Some of the landmark things that we have in India are the Bandra-Worli Sea Link in Mumbai. I think most of you would be familiar, if nothing else. It forms the cover picture for a lot of our delegations when they go out. We also built bridges across, 3 main bridges across the river Brahmaputra, which is the biggest river in India. We recently commissioned the railroad bridge, 4.94 kilometers, at a place called Bogeybill in the northeast. We have made some of the highest dams located in the highest regions of India. The Kishangarh Dam was inaugurated by our Prime Minister last year. Virtually all the power sector contribution in the northern region, I would say both in Kashmir and Uttarakhand, have been undertaken by our company. So that will basically tell you that what we are into. A lot of work on the metro projects. In fact, most of the tunnel work here in Delhi or in Mumbai has been undertaken by us. So those are the fields that we have the expertise in. So it's going to be a process of getting to know each other, both from your side and from our side, as to understand as to what opportunities we would have in your area. I thought that let me share with you, as Mr. Akram wanted me to tell you a little bit about how the infrastructure development is taking place in India. It's the last 10 years to start with, and the last 5 years more in focus, have been the India infrastructure success story. As we are all aware that both infrastructure, both in the social infrastructure as well as the economic infrastructure. The large land size that we have, nearly 3,300 kilometers from Kashmir right down to the tip of India, and west to east about 2,900 kilometers. Land mass, the kind of logistics that are required can only be provided by having a sustainable infrastructure development, and which is the process is on in this country. I'll briefly talk about the various sectors that we are looking at. Not about the social infrastructure, those schools, hospitals, affordable housing. I'm sure there are more experts here who can talk on that. But my emphasis is basically on the economic infrastructure. So the first field that we are spending a lot of time and money is on the roads. Right? We've recently started off what is called the Bharat Mala project. Now, in our language, in Hindi, Mala means a garland, you know. So a garland of roads network is being developed in India. In addition, we are spending a lot of emphasis on the Sagar Mala. Now, Sagar means what? The oceans, and Mala again is the garland of which is being made around the vast coastline that we have. The third emphasis that we are doing is on the inland waterways. Now, as you are aware that the cost of transportation per kilometer on the inland waterways is the least. Right? To give you a figure, I think it's 1.19 rupees per kilometer is the cost of transportation of 1 ton of load on the waterways, while on the road it is about 2.37, and on the rail it is about 1.41. So 1.19 rupees per kilometer, that be the cost of transporting 1 ton. Obviously, the wide network of rivers that we have in this country, this was the obvious answer to, and this has been a recent development. About 117 inland waterways are being constructed at the moment. The other thing is that the railways. While we have a very large rail network going back over a century, but what was required was, one, that there was a need for modernization, right? I would say that we were not very, it was not a very good sight to go to an Indian railway station some years back. But today 400 railway stations are being redeveloped, and very soon they would attain world-class standards. The railway is going in for 6 high-speed metro rails, high-speed rail projects. We may be enhancing our metro rail projects. I don't know whether, Excellency, you had the opportunity to travel by one of the metros in Delhi. You must, if not, I'll take you along for it. It's a good experience, right? There's a lot of crowd at the station, but once you're in the train, and not only that, once you enter the premises, absolutely neat and clean, and it's always a pleasure to travel by. I make sure that I park my car at the nearest metro station and travel by it. Okay, so we are developing these metro rails all over the country, right? Mumbai, Kolkata has its own old thing, but Cochin, or you name the city, and it's being developed to two-tier townships. Then we are developing high-speed rails interconnecting towns. The first one is the Delhi Meerut, which is the closest place here. So these are all the projects that have been undertaken, and what is interesting is that it is mainly the Indian companies which are involved in it. Yes, there is a lot of interest from the Chinese. We have a lot of interest coming in from other parts of the world for becoming partners in our projects. But we have the wherewithal within ourselves to take on these projects. I mean, I can continue to talk about the various developments that have taken place. So suffice to say that we have the expertise. We are well on the way to achieving world-class standards. Very emphatically, the government has said that we are going to soon touch about 35 kilometers of road construction a day. I think we already on to 29. So those are our achievements, and I'm sure we'll find great opportunities for Indian companies to participate in infrastructure development in Vietnam. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, LG Malik, for this short and very important brief on infrastructure development in India.